Hello and welcome to the Kanawha Valley Hustlers. This is Joe Justice. I'm here with Colton. Colton, tell me, buddy, what's your hustle?
My hustle is I'm a financial advisor for Janney Montgomery Scott here in Charleston.
Financial advice. So what got you into doing that type of work?
Growing up, I always was really interested in economics and, how money actually works. So that naturally led me to a finance degree at Marshall University, and the path followed that way.
So how does money work?
That's kind of a complicated question, Joe, but money makes everything go around, right? So we could be here for hours if we were going to talk about that.
Well, what kind of problems do you solve for people as a financial advisor?
We help people make informed and confident decisions about their financial future.
How do you do that, though?
So we work in a comprehensive view. We start with financial planning, which the skinny of it is taking everything in today's dollars, what you're getting, spending, saving, projecting that out in the future, and based on what you want to do with your life and what you want to do with your money, we can work backwards from there to give you actionable steps to get where you want to be.
So the money that you make today might not necessarily be the money that you've got tomorrow, is that right?
Money is always growing. Inflation is a real thing, so $1 today is better than $1 tomorrow, so we try to plan for that.
And is there a difference between getting money like a business versus like an individual? Maybe they're getting a high salary versus they're trying to operate a business where things are going up and down?
There's a lot of tax consequences that come along with the various different types and where you're getting it from. So that's stuff that we all address to make sure you know exactly where you're at and exactly where you're going to be.
So tell me, how long have you been doing this for?
Been with the firm for 3 years.
Okay, so tell me a mistake you made early on. What'd you learn from it?
Early on, I think I was trying to do a whole lot of things at once, so I was spending a week or two on one thing, jumping to the next, instead of really drilling down on a couple core competencies.
When did you figure out you had to make a change?
When you start spinning your wheels and you have ideas that you don't really go anywhere with, and then you're jumping back and forth, and you're like, well, let's just do a couple of things really well.
So you think there's some value in kind of that focus and maybe you can't be all things to all people?
100%. That's a great way to put it. And if you spread yourself too thin, you can't do anything great. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Great. So talk to me just a little bit about what are some common misconceptions that people might have about your industry?
So we deal with a lot of problems with social media. Anyone can get online and say anything that they want. And give you all this financial advice. And I'm not saying that it's all bad advice, but people are not licensed or regulated by the government. And most of the times, they have some of their own interest at heart. If someone says, hey, this is the best thing since sliced bread, they're probably already invested in it and have a vested interest in that.
So you might want to be careful about taking financial advice from somebody that doesn't know your actual details?
Exactly. There's a lot more to the process. So until you look at everything, it's hard to really give good ideas or tell you where you need to be before you take a look at everything. You can't just shoot from the hip on these kind of things.
What about like general financial advice, or like Dave Ramsey, for example? Is that a good example of how you can kind of get good financial advice?
I think Dave Ramsey has a lot of great points. He helps people all the time, and he's built the platform he has for a reason. There is also a reason that Dave Ramsey has an advisor portal. He's not a licensed advisor, and he actually contracts people like myself where he can send his viewers and listeners to. So there's good and bad to both. I would just double check everything and talk to a local representative.
So let me ask you a couple rapid fire questions, Colton. What's the best $100 you ever spent on your business?
Best $100 I ever spent was continuing my education. So above and beyond the regulatory continuing education, investing in expanding my knowledge. I feel like in a world that's so rapidly evolving, if you're not continuing to learn, you're falling behind. So.
Great. What's the biggest waste of money?
Joe, with that question, I wouldn't say that there is a huge waste of money. You spend money on things and you try different things, and even if it doesn't go how you wanted or how you planned, you learn something from it, you learn what not to do, and you can move forward.
So as long as you take some lessons, you'd never really waste money, right?
I would think so. If you're invested in yourself and in something you're passionate about, it all adds up and it'll get you where you want to be.
What's some skill that people in business should be learning today?
I think a big thing, super basic, commingling funds. If you're a business owner and you don't have your personal and your business expenses separated, your funds separated, it can be super difficult to track everything and can put you in a tough spot.
What is a new skill that you're learning right now?
Right now, I'm a part of the CFA Institute, so I'm a program candidate. So I'm really diving into modeling, financial modeling based on portfolio metrics and risk metrics, and how to really ramp that up. So it's something I'm excited about.
Now, what is for people that don't know, what is modeling when it comes to, financial advisor?
So modeling, you can use various different methods, but it's basically trying to derive a valuation. So based on cash flows of a business today, what is that going to mean for the price of the stock in the future? So all those things like inflation and growth assumptions we talked about, you can actually model that all out to give you more real numbers rather than just a guess.
Great. So tell me, as we're kind of wrapping up here, Colton, what is one belief, one principle, something that you stand by even when everybody tells you that you're wrong?
I think a big thing that we run into is that people think maybe they're not in the right spot or they don't have a lot of savings or money, and it discourages them. And I think everything where you're at, just taking a step forward will compound progress over time, just like compounding money. It'll get you where you want to be. So you're never too little, too late to start.
You got to start somewhere, right?
Exactly.
Even Warren Buffett didn't start out with billions, right?
Exactly.
And probably made a couple mistakes along the way.
100%.
And I think he would be the first to tell you that, right?
He is very open about his mistakes in his early career, and you got to start somewhere. Great.
Colton, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
You can call me, or you can look us up on our website at Rob Wealth Advisors. That's RAAB.
Great. Awesome. Colton, thank you so much for joining us here today. Thank you for watching and listening. This is Joe Justice, the Kanawha Valley Hustler, reminding you to hustle hard, hustle smart, and hustle with a smile.